Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
What if the idea of starting over is actually one of the most stressful lies that we tell ourselves? Every January, we act like the calendar flips and boom, we got a clean slate, fresh start, new version of you, as if nothing before this moment actually counts. But what if that's not how growth works at all? What if the real work doesn't begin with erasing, but with listening? Welcome to Kindness Rising.
This is Kindness Rising.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me this morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern on Kindness Rising, just like we do every Monday through Friday. We don't miss a day. And today we are starting to anticipate the new year, and we are going to talk about what that means for us, what we've told ourselves over our lives about the new year and what it means. Spartacus, what's up? Daniel Allison, so glad you've joined me here this morning on Kindness Rising. Thank you so much. I hope things are going well for all of you. Get involved in the comments. What are you up to in terms of your preparations for the new year? What are you thinking about? What's 2026 going to bring for you? For me, it's going to bring continued growth and fine tuning and changes, because that's how we grow. But I'm not starting over. No one starts over. We think, oh, it's January 1st, time to start over. Okay, that second hand hit midnight on New Year's Eve, and now it's time to start over. That is not the way life works. Mike Sullivan, welcome in. I am glad you're here. Get involved in the comments. Say hello to Daniel Allison and Spartacus. Great people here joining us. Roseanne Roof, good morning, Mom. Hope you're well today. Anyway, there is something strangely comforting about the idea of starting over. Oh, I can just wipe the slate clean, turn the page, and there it is. But that's not how it works. Starting over assumes that everything that we've lived, everything that we have done in our lives doesn't matter anymore, that it was just a mistake and we have to just wipe it clean. It's not just unrealistic, it's actually unkind to yourself, unkind to the world, to try to erase what you have done. When January 1st shows up in a couple of days here, nothing inside of you is going to reset. Your nervous system's not going to wipe your memory. Your habits aren't going to disappear, and your lessons, they won't evaporate. But what does happen is quieter. You take everything that you've learned over the years, over your life, and you bring it right with you. Every conversation that didn't go your way, every risk you took, every boundary you set, that's what you bring with you. Every pattern you started to notice, even if you didn't fully, changes. I love that Alyssa Crosby sings, wherever you go, there you are. And that is absolutely true. Who's the author of that book? Do you remember? Did you read it, Alyssa? I did. And I'm trying to remember what the author is. Anyway, I read it years ago. It's true. Wherever you go, there you are. You can't run away from yourself. You can't run away from the lies you tell yourself. All those things, they come with you when that calendar turns. Absolutely not. But remember, what you bring with you, it's not baggage. It can be baggage, but you can jettison your baggage, but it's really just calibration data. This is where the new year actually becomes useful, not as a restart, but as a tuning moment. You don't scrap the instrument, you don't pretend last year never happened, but you listen. You notice what feels right, what feels rushed, what feels like you may be muted or out of alignment. And then you start to make those small intentional adjustments, not because you failed, but because you are now paying attention. Giovanni Rizzo Giafrida. What a great name. Love that. Last year never happened? Not true. Last year did happen, and we learned and we grew from it. And you can't you can't just wipe it clean. You don't want to wipe it clean. Keep the good, jettison the bad, and move forward. Here's the thing. If you've been standing on the edge of a new year thinking, I should be further along, just take a pause, because you're not late. You're right on time with what you're doing. You're simply better informed from last year, and you're learning and tuning your instrument from your experience. It's not starting over. It is maturity and growth. And that's what we do here at Kindness Rising. I am so glad you have all come here to join me this morning, getting up and getting it after it, preparing for the new year. Spartacus, you're doing exactly what you did last New Year's. Let me guess. I'm not going to guess. You're going to sit around and do some research and study and come to Kindness Rising every morning. I don't know. What are you going to do? Tell us, Spartacus. Tell us. I'm just guessing at things. You're going to watch the Poseidon Adventure 70s film, Mike Sullivan. That's cool. I saw that a long time ago. I don't remember. Gene Hackman, right? I don't remember. I try to remember this stuff. Anyway, I'm so glad that you've all joined me here. And speaking about old movies, here's the connection I'm making for our Be Kind Rewind. Those of us who have a few years under our belts. Good morning, Holroyd. I am glad you're here. Absolutely. But here's our Be Kind Rewind. Those of us Gen X and older millennials remember back in the day. You stick the tape in the machine, starts spinning, you hear those wheels spinning, the screen pops up with the FBI warning, we're watching a VHS. That's what we're doing. And sometimes what happened, the audio was there, you could hear it fine, but the picture, that was all fuzzy and staticky, wavy lines, barely watchable. But when that happened, what did you do? You didn't throw out the tape. You didn't decide this is a bad movie, I don't want to watch it. You didn't buy a new VCR or a new TV. You reached for that tiny little button. Tracking, getting you back on track. Sometimes it turned, sometimes it was a tap to track. You guys remember that? I keep kicking my table. Do you remember that? One little click at a time, the picture would suddenly start to snap back into place. The same movie, the same tape, the same screen, just clear. Somewhere along the way, though, we have forgotten that lesson. Sometimes, I know I have. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. Life gets a little fuzzy. It gets a little certain. Oh, scrap that. Got to start over altogether. Full reset. New year, new habits, new identity. No. Most of the time, the problem isn't your life. It's the signal, the tracking. Yeah, Spartacus. Or get a VHS head cleaner. I forgot about head cleaners, Sullivan. Yeah, that's funny. VHS head cleaners. The little, you'd spray a little, sprinkle a little, some kind of. No, the head cleaners was you stuck this tape in it that had some kind of magic to it, right? I was thinking about the CD cleaners where you'd drop a couple of drops on things and let the CD spin to clean your clean the lens on the CD player. Anyway, I've lived through a few technology changes, and sometimes I forget which is which. But yeah, the head cleaners and the CD cleaners, absolutely. But the tracking button, it would work. It would work. It would bring you back in. I don't even know. Does anybody know what it did? Somehow it got the tape realigned and it was able to read it or whatever. I just know that the picture was fuzzy and now it's not. So sometimes I guess using a tracking button, that's the tool you need to use, but you don't know why it works. I don't know. Brain Andy production. Whoa, brain candy production. I can read. Brain Candy Production. Good morning. I am kind. I hope that you'll be kind too. And love to rock it. Good advice. Thank you. Brain Candy Production. You like my hat? You can get one if you want one. I'll go back and drop that the merch store in the chat in a second here. But absolutely. I don't know how to do that. Okay, never mind. I'll get it to you in a minute. Anyway, Brain Candy, you're a fan of the Fox? Well, we are the Fox. You're in the Fox Den. That's my studio, the Fox Den. And if you want to check out what the story is, what the Fox, check it out. Check out my channel. Subscribe to the channel. Go to the video called What the Fox, and you can find out why the Fox is so important to me. I hope you'll do that. If you get to be women for day, what would you do? Molly for moly. Holy moly, furry moly. Molly furry moly. If I was a woman for a day, what would I do? I don't know. Probably the same thing I do every day. I don't know. Never really thought about that one, Molly furry moly. Never thought about that one. Maybe come back tomorrow. We can talk about it some more. All right. Anyway, we were talking about that. We're talking about not erasing our tape, not trying to start over entirely. And that's the start of our theme for this week. This week we're going to be talking about New Year all week long, about the changes that we're anticipating, about how we can bring our best selves. Obviously, not obviously, I'm going to tell you the best way to do it is show up here 7:30 a.m. Eastern every Monday through Friday for Kindness Rising. Get involved in the chat, subscribe to the channel, all those things that will help you to get up and get after it every day. Maybe that will be your New Year's resolution, is to wake up in time, to join Kindness Rising, become part of the community, and start your day with positivity, with growth, with a little bit of calm, peace, and personal development, and a little bit of fun. We like to have fun and talk about anything. That's what I love. That's the part I love. I love talking about and sharing my thoughts about personal growth, and it helps me to get up every day. But the part that really gets me excited is when you get involved, because that means we're connecting. Hopefully, it's making a difference in your life. What did I get for Christmas? I got exactly what I wanted. I got my family all together. And except for my mother, who was not with us, but she was with us in spirit, and she's physically with us. She's just spending time in a different location. But my core family, my wife and my two kids, we spent a lot of time together. Gifts is not what Christmas means to me pretty much anymore. I used to be pretty into the gifts, obviously, as a kid, but now, once you become a parent, then it becomes about giving, and it becomes about having an experience and being together and all that. So but if you really want to know, I got some clothes, of course. I got a really cool little gadget. My kid bought me a gadget which I didn't even know existed. So stupid, so simple. Cigarette lighter in your car, stick it in. It's got a little block on it, and it has retractable cords with C charger and lightning charger and inputs for USB. I drive a Honda Accord. It's small, and it feels like I'm always tripping over cords. Now this little cord, very thoughtful, practical gift that my child actually gave me. It was probably one of my most exciting gifts of the year because the kid thought about it, and it's a simple little thing. But for me, it was about the fact that my kid actually thought about me and thought, what would dad really like? I've gotten plenty of ties over the years and little hand-drawn pictures and all that stuff. But as we watch our children mature and grow and get outside of themselves and start thinking about others, that's, to me, been some of the greatest parenting joy that I have that I have received, to watch my children grow into mature, responsible, kind, caring adults who are contributing, who are focusing on their own personal growth and helping the world. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that as a parent. I'm proud of my kids for that. And for me, I'm going to stop yakking about it, but that's the end of that's what Christmas is about for me in these times of remembering and looking back and looking how far we've come. Certainly a blessing for all of us. So thank you so much for joining me here on Kindness Rising. I'm going to change gears just a little bit. We're talking about New Year and all that, but I also had a chance to see a video this weekend about our subject matter. Two men who I greatly respect, two celebrities, I guess, in their own right. One, a certainly well-known personal development coach. His big book was Start With Why. You might have heard of that. Figuring out what your why is before you figure out the what and the how. That was his big book. But there's a guy named Simon Sinek, Sinek. You may or may not know him, or you may or not know that you know him. You've probably seen him. He has a very distinct look. I'm going to show you a clip of his video, and you might remember him. And the other guy, the guy he's talking to in the video, is someone who I really respect and have grown to enjoy over the years. First introduced to him during his stint as the host of The Daily Show from Australia, I think, or New Zealand. I don't remember. Talking about Trevor Noah. So if I can gain control of my buttons and know what the heck I'm doing, I've been trying to do some of this stuff as I go here. I'm going to share this screen. I'm trying. Hey, look at that. There he is.
It's an interesting idea, kindness being harder to receive. Is there an element of people being uncomfortable in and around kindness then?
I think superficial kindness we understand. Be nice to someone, say thank you, be polite, pay them a compliment. I think we all get that, right? And I think we can all be a little more kind. And that's usually where our minds go, But I think kindness includes discomfort. And I think the most difficult kind of kindness is the uncomfortable kind of kindness. So for example, somebody suffers some sort of tragedy. They lose someone close to them in an untimely fashion. They lose their job, whatever it is. And so many times we do nothing because we don't want to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. And sometimes we do say and do the wrong thing, and it does trigger someone. Yeah. And so I think there's something about saying, I don't know what to do, but I think it's right to do something, and to lean into trying to be kind, not knowing how it's going to be received, but it's the right thing to do, I think is the most difficult act of kindness. Because when someone is suffering, so often what we do is we leave them alone, which is not an act of kindness. I'll tell you a personal experience that.
Okay. Here I am trying to figure this thing out as I go. There I am. Okay. You guys hear that all right? Hope you did. Hope you did. I'm going to figure out these buttons one of these days. But the point that that Simon is making, and something that I've always talked about, Simon Sinek makes there, is that kindness isn't always nice. Kindness and niceness are not the same thing. As a matter of fact, being nice is sometimes the most unkind thing that you can do. The thing that I think about, like a simple example, microcosm that we all probably have experienced, right? You see somebody, you're talking to somebody, and they've got a barnacle on their ship. They got a little, I don't know, leftover chicken nugget hanging off their lip, or whatever it may be, and you don't say anything. You're like, oh God, just ignore it. Just ignore it. It's going to be awkward if I say something, right? But the kind thing would be to say, hey, you got a little barnacle on your ship, or a bat in the cave, or whatever analogy or euphemism you want to use. The point is that it may feel awkward, and at first it's like, oh God, but that person's going to be appreciative of it. So the point is, we talk about kindness like it's something soft and warm and easy to receive and always wrapped up in a smile, but real kindness, sometimes it's pretty awkward. It shows up, and your first instinct isn't gratitude, it's suspicion too. That's the other side of this, right? Which is, why is this person helping me? What do they want from me? Do they see me as broken, or is there a problem, right? That discomfort doesn't mean that the kindness was wrong. It means that it touched something tender, right? Little tender, maybe something we know about ourselves when we receive that message, but it comes from the outside, and you're like, oh shit, people see that too? Okay. But anyway, and that's the point that I'm trying to make, and that we don't say out loud enough, which is kindness isn't always nice. Nice, that avoids tension. It keeps the peace. It says you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Even when things clearly aren't, right? Kindness is different. Kindness is telling someone something like, I believe in you too much to let you keep missing this, right? Kindness is giving feedback that might sting a little, not to wound somebody, not to hurt somebody, but to wake somebody up maybe to a blind spot they can't see on their own. And we probably all have been on both sides of that, right? We probably all have been on both sides of that, receiving kindness, that kind of kindness. At first, it freaking stings, man. It hurts. It hurts when people give us that critical feedback, when we've worked hard on something, and there's an art to that too, giving that feedback. But I'm bouncing around a little bit. But I know you know that feeling, right? That your chest tightens, your defense comes up. You're like, oh. Part of you wants to reject what they're saying. You need time to process it. But then after a while, you look back and you go, that was huge. That changed my direction a little bit. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't flattering, but it was generous. It was kind of someone to offer that feedback. Being able to receive that feedback and drop our ego is the key, right? Right. All right. So I don't know where I'm going with that, except that to say this is what I think of. If today you're on the receiving end of some feedback that hurts, stings a little bit, whatever the case may be, just pause before you dismiss it. Receive it, take it in, say thank you for the feedback. I know I do when I get feedback. Sometimes I just go, thank you for the feedback. And then I process it and figure out, how do I integrate that, test it. Is it true, the feedback that someone is giving me? And if you're the one offering feedback, just make sure you check your intention. Is it about control? Is it truly about caring? Is it truly being kind? Kindness doesn't always feel good in the moment, but the right kind of discomfort, that can actually be an invitation to grow. So I hope that helps us together to approach today a little bit differently, receiving, giving feedback, thinking about the idea that it's okay to push past our awkwardness and think about our intention. Our intention is vital. It's what matters, right? And being able to explain that intention in a way that people understand and know within our heart what our intention is. Sometimes we give the feedback and we're like, I know I've done it. I've given critical feedback, suggestion, recommendation, whatever the case may be. And then you're like, oh man, was I too harsh? Did my point get across? All that. So be kind to yourself in giving that feedback too, and learning and growing. I think that's really important too. So we're winding down here. Time has flown. I'm glad that each and every one of you, Mike Sullivan, Spartacus, Alyssa Crosby, Brain Candy, Roseanne Roof, Giovanni, Danny, what a crowd we've got today at Kindness Rising. I am so glad you've come here. I am glad that you have chosen to spend your time here at Kindness Rising and with us here on the Mornings in the Lab Network on this Monday. And if you want to be part of the Mornings in the Lab Network, it starts by getting involved in our shows, getting involved in the comments, and feel free to reach out to me, Matthew Roof, here on YouTube. Over on LinkedIn is a place where I am actively involved in DMs and the feed there. Please come talk to me. Talk to me about your thoughts. Are you interested in going live? I can help you do that. Bringing your thoughts, your opinions, your experience, your expertise, your authenticity, your trust, and some entertainment. Haven't talked about eat in a while, but that's our 5-ingredient recipe for going live in your personal brand: experience, expertise, authenticity, trust, and entertainment. We can talk about those things sometime. But before, I'm going to end my commercial now. And before we transition and send you about your day, getting over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends and John Anderson too, they'll be there for you. I want to give you your compass. Our compasses are takeaways, things that we can do to take today's topic and put it in motion. And here's the thing: nothing needs to be erased to improve. Remember, awareness beats amnesia every time. If you erase what you learned, you're bound to make that mistake again. So just stay self-aware. Tension is information, not failure. If something feels tight or it's asking for attention, it's not punishment. It's not punishment. It's feedback for you to use to improve. Listening comes before adjusting. You can't tune what you don't hear. So it starts by being open to the feedback and listening, and remembering that if that feedback doesn't necessarily fit with your feelings, it's okay. But listen to it and see, and listen over time to feedback. Absolutely. Gentle honesty lasts longer than forced motivation. Does that make sense? Right? You're better off slowly but surely giving feedback, because sustainable changes start with truth. And remember this also, finally, as we wind down here, you are already in motion. New Year's is not about restarting. It's about recalibrating. If something is fuzzy, use your tracking button. Make minor tweaks to find the way to a clearer picture. That's the point of today's episode. And as we wind down, I just want to remind you that I am here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, to help you get up with a little bit of hope, humanity, and heart. Subscribe to the channel. Get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends at 8 a.m. too, and continue the conversation. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow morning. I promise you, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Remember, you don't start over. You're just retuning. And while you're retuning, remember this: stay uncommon and stay kind. What if your mornings could be inspiring and ridiculously fun?
Kindness Rising isn't just a show, it's a full wake-up vibe.
It's freaking fun, people.
Yeah, man, it's got real get-after-it energy.
I love it.
Wake up with Kindness Rising.
I help purpose-driven people grow their impact. 5-ingredient recipe to help you build your personal brand. Get out there and take kind action.
If it's live, they'll feel it.
On Kindness Rising, we bring you proven strategies and fresh ideas you can actually use. If you're not failing, you're not trying.
Exactly. Fail fast, rebound faster.
You'll see the bloopers and the genuine connections that make kindness contagious. We sometimes get into a little bit of trouble.
Pretty much my life made the list.
You can trust what you see right here is honest, respectful, and uplifting. Social impact organizations, and we always talk about them. Try kindness. It's way cheaper than therapy. You just made my day.